It was a chilly Saturday morning in early autumn, the kind where the crisp air and golden leaves beckoned you to slow down and savor the moment. Emma and her friends had decided to meet at their favorite cafe, Brewed Awakenings, a quaint little spot with mismatched furniture and the comforting aroma of freshly ground coffee. Emma arrived first, as usual, and claimed their usual table by the window. The cafe was bustling with the usual Saturday crowd, but the table in the corner was always available for them. She glanced at her watch and saw it was just past 10. Soon, Sarah and Mike would be here, and the day's gossip and laughter would commence. Sarah was the first to walk in, her curly hair bouncing with every step. She had a bright, easygoing smile that instantly lifted everyone's spirits. She waved enthusiastically when she saw Emma and headed straight for the table. "Hey, Emma! I was so ready for this coffee date. You wouldn't believe the week I've had," Sarah said, sliding into a chair and setting down her oversized purse. Emma grinned. "I can't wait to hear all about it. But first, let's get some coffee. I'm thinking of trying their new pumpkin spice latte." Just then, Mike burst through the door, shaking off the cold. He was carrying a small stack of newspapers, as always. Mike had a knack for collecting the latest headlines and had a collection of random facts that could surprise anyone. "Morning, folks. Sorry I'm late. Got caught up reading about some crazy science discovery," he said, setting the newspapers on the table. His eyes twinkled with enthusiasm. Sarah raised an eyebrow. "Did they discover that coffee is the key to eternal youth or something?" Mike laughed. "Not quite, but close. Apparently, they've found evidence that caffeine can help with cognitive functions in aging. So, we're basically becoming geniuses with every cup." Emma and Sarah exchanged amused glances. "Well, that's a good excuse for our coffee addiction," Emma said, as they all chuckled. The waitress approached, and they placed their orders. Emma's pumpkin spice latte, Sarah's caramel macchiato, and Mike's usual black coffee were soon on their way. While waiting, they dove into their typical Saturday ritual, catching up on life. Sarah recounted her tumultuous week at work, where her boss had unexpectedly left for another job, leaving her to handle a mountain of responsibilities. Mike shared the latest trivia he'd read and his plans for a weekend hike. Emma talked about her new knitting project, which had turned out to be more complicated than she had anticipated. As their coffees arrived, the conversation turned to lighter topics. They reminisced about their college days, sharing stories that had grown funnier with time. They laughed about their attempts at cooking, the misadventures on road trips, and the small victories in their everyday lives. The cafe's warm ambience and their shared laughter created a cozy cocoon around them. Time seemed to slow down, and for those few hours, the outside world's pressures faded away. The coffee was delicious, the conversation engaging, and the company unbeatable. As they sipped the last of their drinks and said their goodbyes, they each felt a little lighter, a little happier. The simple act of gathering over coffee had strengthened their bond and offered them a welcome pause from life's demands. Emma walked out of the cafe feeling grateful for her friends and the small moments that made life special. They promised to meet again next Saturday, and as she strolled down the street, she knew that these Saturday mornings would always be a cherished part of her week.